guys, you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. I'm your host, Vasavi, and I am so ready to get deep with all of you. Ready? Let's go. So I have excellent news for you. I want to share with you one of the pillars of how I cope and thrive through all of the self-doubt, the fatigue, the helplessness that all of us experience on the quest to live a life that we are absolutely in love with. And this pillar, it's comprised of 3 simple words, is the foundation of a proven model that I have personally used to build my own transformational coaching practice. Women and men just like you are using this very model to turn their breakdowns into breakthroughs, increase their income in their job and their business, and to create more intimate, lasting relationships with their loved ones. I am overwhelmed and just overflowing with excitement to share it with you. So I want you to join me on my free one-time only teleclass where you're going to learn how a medical diagnosis changed my life and how I overcame it to build a remarkable life. The 2 questions that you need to ask to get you from to get you from stuck to successful in a snap. What other people really have to do with what you want. And the actual 6-step practices that I use every day to build my business and love my life more every single day. And yes, I promise you those 3 little words are going to be revealed and they will transform the way your world looks and feels in a positive, fabulous way starting now. So I promise you, in true Vasavi form, I'll be keeping it real, all in service of you. So I can barely wait for June 6th to arrive so I can share all of this incredible content with you. So go to www.sourceofyoursuccess.com to sign up for my free teleclass. So I am so thrilled about today's topic. I know that I can definitely relate to it, and I know for a fact that all of you have been searching for this. It's all about, today we're going to be talking all about finding perfect love in imperfect relationships, the wabi-sabi way. And we're going to talk more about what wabi-sabi is later. But my guest today is also, she's just going to be talking about how to turn the things that trigger you in your relationships into a more compassionate, joyful, and light way of just dealing with situations in your relationship so you can truly enjoy your relationship. My guest, Arielle Ford, is an amazing woman who has helped so many of the authors that you have read or even if you've read their quotes, to become the best-selling authors that they are today. She's widely recognized as America's foremost book publicist and was instrumental and key in launching the careers of many of the New York Times best-selling self-help authors, including Deepak Chopra, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Neil Donald Walsh, her sister Debbie Ford, Wayne Dyer, and Don Miguel Ruiz, who was just on the show 2 weeks ago. She's amazing, and you don't want to miss our conversation. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO, Talk Radio 710, and 103.7 FM.
KCMO Talk Radio 710, now on FM at 103.7. Hear Dave Ramsey at his new time, weekdays 9 to 11.
She said, "You Dave Ramsey people are like a crazy cult." Yeah, they're all shaving their heads so they look like me. It's a cult. It's a cult. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. It just doesn't meet the guidelines of a cult.
The Dave Ramsey Show on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM. Ready to talk? We are KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM.
Vasavi Kumar knows one thing for sure. She is no expert. Instead, she embodies and radiates acceptance, vulnerability, hope, and love, drawing from a lifetime of awareness and the primal understanding that at our very core, we crave connection and truth. Vasavi knows that by sharing her authentic self, she creates a safe place for others to not only discover, but speak their own truth. Knowing that the relationships we seek begin first within, Vasavi delivers presentations that not only uplift and inspire, but encourage each attendee to dig deep, cast away doubt, and claim the truly radiant self they've too often buried under layers of expectations, disappointments, and self-criticism. To learn more about how Vasavi can support you in getting you out of your own way, visit her at vasavikumar.com or give her a call at 913-951-1764 today. vasavikumar.com. 913-951-1764.
Did you know you could earn a transfer discount just by switching your motorcycle policy over to Geico? And if you already insure your car with Geico, you could even get a multi-policy discount. I've always wondered what it's like to ride a motorcycle, to ride my steel horse across the land, fighting crime alongside a tall brunette, Francesca. Sorry, our mind went to a strange place there. Where was I? All the Geico motorcycle discounts. Right.
Call Geico or visit geico.com today to see how much our discounts could save you.
The Home Depot is making it easier to bring home a brand new brand name appliance with instant savings of up to $750 on purchases of $497 or more. So you can afford an upgrade, like that stainless steel Maytag fridge you thought was out of reach, or that front-loading GE washer you've wanted for years. All thanks to savings of up to $750. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through June 20th, U.S. only. See store for details.
By August of next year, your medical billing and coding methods become critical to the financial success of your practice. That's when American converts to ICD-10, and your coders must be certified in over 140,000 new codes. Certification is time-consuming and costly, and you risk an increase in claim denials. Purpose Billing Services is your billing and coding solution. Their staff is certified and experienced. Contact them for a free quote today, 913-707-8710, or visit them on the web at purposebilling.com. You fix your patients' aches and pains, and they fix yours.
Most of the time, I brought it on myself, but who could resist the perfect burger? I promised my tummy, never again. My tummy replied, embarrassing. Then I found Digestive Advantage. It's a supplement.
Shift Digestive Advantage dual action formulas immediately begin to target your digestive needs.
My tummy liked that.
And with continued use, the Healthy Probiotic gives you long-term digestive support.
My tummy loved that.
Works now and later. That's the Digestive Advantage, with formulas for gas, constipation, lactose intolerance, and intensive bowel support.
You see and hear ad after ad about owning gold, but they raise more questions than they answer. That's why American Bullion has created a comprehensive free gold guide packed with unbiased information about gold as an investment. Get the facts before you buy. Call American Bullion now for your free copy of the gold guide at 800-481-8455. That's 800-481-8455. Are you tired of stressing out about the economy and ready to take control of your retirement funds? American Bullion has a precise, tax-free, and hassle-free system to convert your existing IRA or former 401k into a gold IRA. That's why they're the leader in gold IRA rollovers. It's all spelled out in the free American Bullion Gold Guide that answers all of your questions in plain and simple English. Call for your free copy today at 800-481-8455. That's 800-481-8455. American Bullion. 800-481-8455.
KCMO, where you get it right. KCMO Talk Radio 710, now on FM at 103.7.
Welcome back. You're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. And I am talking to the fabulous Arielle Ford. She is a rock star. I mean, Arielle Ford has spent the past 25 years living and promoting consciousness through all forms of media. She's the author of the international bestseller, The Soulmate Secret, How to Manifest the Love of Your Life with the Law of Attraction. She is also known as the Cupid of Business and the Fairy Godmother of Love. But today, we're going to be talking about her book, Wabi-Sabi Love, The Ancient Art of Finding Perfect Love in Imperfect Relationships. And it's an amazing book because it just shows it just offers a groundbreaking shift in perception and really showing couples how to have a deeper, more loving, more intimate, and more fulfilling relationship. She lives in La Jolla, California with her husband, Brian, and their feline friends. And if you go to www.thewabisabibook.com, you can get the first chapter of her book. So I highly recommend it. It's an amazing book. So thank you, Arielle, so much for being here today.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
So, you know, the first question that obviously comes to mind when I say wabi-sabi is really, what is wabi-sabi?
Well, wabi-sabi is an ancient Japanese aesthetic that honors all things old, worn, weathered, imperfect, and impermanent. And it seeks to find beauty and perfection in imperfection. So let's say you had a big giant vase with a crooked crack down the middle of it. the Japanese would put it on a pedestal and shine a spotlight on the crack. So in Wabi-Sabi Love, we seek to find the beauty and perfection in our own cracks, and most importantly, in those of our spouse.
So what drew you to this Japanese ancient aesthetic of really finding perfection in imperfection? How did you just happen to stumble upon this and write this book?
Well, I actually came across the concept in the 1980s when I was doing PR for a lot of art galleries and spending a lot of time reading different art magazines. So I first learned about it there, and I was pretty much of a perfectionist at that point in my life, and of course nothing's perfect, so I was always, frustrated and disappointed that I couldn't be perfect. And once I understood the concept of wabi-sabi, I was able to let go of the whole quest for perfection and to start to have more fun, finding beauty and perfection in not only my own imperfections, but those of other people around me.
I just have to acknowledge you for openly admitting that you were a perfectionist. I also honor that in myself. I am a recovering perfectionist and control freak. And, it's been hard, being a newlywed and being a perfectionist, because I know that sometimes it works in my business to be a perfectionist. I'm very good with detail. I'm very good with logistics, but it just doesn't cut it when you're married or in any sort of intimate relationship to be a perfectionist. So you believe that being a perfectionist in your relationship is a dead end to happiness. How come?
Yeah. Well, because we've all been brainwashed by society to seek perfection. We look for it in ourselves, in our relationships, in our careers, in our homes, in our kids, and that just ends up leaving us disappointed and frustrated because it's not possible. In fact, I think the word perfection needs to be changed to pure fiction.
I got to write that down.
Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
really, that's what it is. It's pure fiction. It's just not possible. So, if you're trying for perfection, there's no hope or possibility of having a great relationship because you're always going to be looking for what's wrong.
I mean, it makes complete sense, though, because if you're striving for perfectionism in your life, then when you get into a relationship with someone, you're just going to put that same burden on your partner.
Right, and the truth is we're all looking for the same thing. We all want to be loved and accepted for who we are, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody's there judging you, blaming, shaming, what fun is that? How can you have any kind of meaningful relationship if somebody's always trying to fix you or change you rather than accept you for who you are?
Absolutely. So you say that couples should wear rose-colored glasses when it comes to seeing each other.
Yes, there's actually been studies at the University of Buffalo that have proven that couples who wear rose-colored glasses, meaning the ones who choose to see the highest and the best in each other, actually have happier, more satisfying marriages. And it's quite easy to figure out because you're either looking for what's right or you're looking for what's wrong. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're looking for what's right, you're going to get more of that rightness. If you're looking for what's wrong, you're going to find what you're looking for. So since we are all mature adults and we get to choose our thoughts and beliefs, why not intentionally intend and expect the best out of our partners?
Well, it's funny that you said just now, since we're all mature adults, because I remember when I interviewed John Gray a few weeks ago, and I asked him, what is your mission? And he said, relationships work when you have two healthy adults, because otherwise you're constantly operating from like a childish place from the past, So what I hear you saying is when you're wearing those rose-colored glasses, you're willing to let the imperfections go.
Right. Right, yeah, because otherwise you are just holding on to the past and you're not going to get where you want to go.
Okay, but I have to ask you this question because it's on my mind, okay? What happens when our partner is consistently doing something that truly drives us mad and drives us crazy?
Okay, so there's a couple of things here. You can't wabi-sabi your way out of bad behavior, abuse, or addiction. Okay, so if it's any of those things, you need to go get professional help. There's not a wabi-sabi solution. But if it's just something that you don't like, and it's something you've been complaining about for a long time and you notice that it never changes, that's generally a sign that they're not the one that needs to change, you are. You need to find a new story about what it is that they're doing. Because they're not doing it they didn't wake up this morning going, oh, how could I drive Vasavi crazy? What's the one thing I could do today to make her miserable? Nobody's thinking like that. So if it's driving you crazy, it's really your problem.
Okay, so you know what? I actually think we have some time. I want to ask you a question about something that's been driving me crazy, okay?
Okay.
My husband loves these frozen fruit pops.
Mine does too, by the way.
Oh my God. Okay. So he goes to Whole Foods and they're like organic frozen fruit pops. And he's like, but babe, they're organic. I go, but babe, they're 20 grams of sugar. Each one is 20 grams of sugar. You're going to get cavities. And I don't get angry with him. I notice that I get scared inside because I don't want his teeth to fall out. So how do I use wabi-sabi in that case? Because he really loves his frozen fruit pops.
And your issue is you're policing his intake of sugar?
Yes.
And he's over 5 years old?
I can't talk right now.
This is not his problem. This is your problem.
Okay, but seriously, I'm so noticing my ego wanting to be right about this. Ariel
it doesn't matter if you're right. It's not his belief system, and you're trying to impose your belief system on his eating habits.
So you're saying I should let him have his frozen fruit pops?
Let him have whatever he wants to eat. He's over 5 years old. He can make his own choices and decisions. You eat what's right for you. And the thing that you should know is that the stress that you're creating in yourself by judging his eating habits as wrong is more damaging to your health than those fruit pops are to his health.
That's absolutely true. You're absolutely right. It takes more energy for me to freak out about it and get stressed out than it does if I would just let it go.
Exactly. You got it.
So do you have an example of someone that you've worked with who, had something that they never thought they could kind of surmount in their relationship, and then they use the wabi-sabi principles?
Yeah, I actually can tell you a story from my life about that. And what happened was I grew up with a father and a brother who watched football 24/7 on TV. I felt like football was a sibling I had to compete with. So, my story was I would never, ever marry somebody who was going to watch sports on TV. That was not going to be part of my reality. So I ended up marrying a guy who was a former professional basketball player.
Oh, my God.
I never thought about basketball. My concern was football. And, of course, he was watching basketball on TV, and I was thinking, how am I going to make this go away? And then I realized one day, why would I want to make it go away? He grew up his whole life loving basketball. The whole family loves basketball. Maybe I need to find something about it to like. So I said to him, I'll watch the last 15 minutes of any game you want me to watch and see what I can learn about this. And the first time I did it, I absolutely hated it. I thought, oh, God, this is so awful. How am I ever going to do this? But the second time I did it, I noticed that there was this one really short guy on the team, and he was the one making all the baskets. Mm-hmm. That's what you even call it. And suddenly I figured out how I was going to love basketball. From that point on, I would watch the last 15 minutes of any game Brian wanted me to watch, but I'd only root for the short guys.
Oh, that's fun.
It was fun. Now I had some skin in the game, right? I had something to be interested about. And I got to know all the short guys, and I became a real fan. And as I watched the game more and Brian taught me more about it, I came to appreciate it. And even though I never asked him to do this, he ended up reciprocating because I have this thing for stupid, funny movies. Like, my all-time favorite movies are things like Beverly Hills Chihuahua and Legally Blonde.
I love Legally Blonde.
Wasn't that a great movie?
I can watch it over and over again. That's like a perfect Friday night.
Right, exactly. But Brian's idea of a great movie is, a foreign film with subtitles or a documentary or something really serious, dark. And I always wanted him to see stupid, funny movies with me. So after I learned to love basketball, he said to me one day, you know what? Because I really like to hear you laugh. And even though I don't love those movies the way you do, anytime you want to see a stupid, funny movie, I'll take you. And that's kind of how wabi-sabi works. If you can find some way to make yourself interested, find something that's going to appeal to you and create what I call a generous heart about their passions, because you do want to be interested in their passions, they'll reciprocate.
I love that. So you're actually choosing to make it work. You're actually choosing to get some skin in the game, to quote
right,
you.
Because if you don't, they'll find somebody who will.
Yes, absolutely. And guys, you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO, Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM, and I'm talking to the fabulous Arielle Ford. I got one more question for you, Arielle. You recommend creating code words with your partner in order to have, playful reminders when one of you is headed in the wrong direction. Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. So I remember one day early on in our marriage, I was standing in front of Brian, and my left hand was on my left hip, and my right index finger was wagging in front of his face, and I don't know what I was, going on about, but I caught myself, and I was sort of embarrassed, and I said to him, oh, my God, I said, the next time you see me doing this, and unfortunately there'll probably be a next time, could you just sort of gently, quietly say to me, when did Sheila enter the room? Now, Sheila's my mother's name, and I love my mother, but she can be a tad overbearing at times. Mm-hmm. And Brian got it instantly, and he said, yes, and the next time I get really patronizing, you can say to me, when did Wayne arrive? And that's his dad's name. So we very quickly came up with these code names to diffuse what could potentially be a really ugly situation, and had this whole wabi-sabi shift about how we saw ways in which we were behaving that we didn't like in ourselves or each other.
I loved that part of your book, and I think I emailed you right after, and I actually had a conversation with my husband, and I said, you need to tell me when Geeta, who's my mother, is busting out, because there are so many of my mom's tendencies that I bring as an adult into my marriage, and I have to learn to separate that Vasavi, 30-year-old adult, is not this, her mother.
Right. What happened just the other day? We were sitting and talking to my sister about something, and suddenly I said, oh, so-and-so is such an idiot. And Brian just looked at me and he goes, boy, you sounded exactly like Sheila in that moment. I was like, you're right. That's one of the things she says that is unkind and really not true. So we still, to this day, it's very, very useful. In fact, I have these other friends, Barnett and Sandy, that don't use code words. They use code stances. They actually use physical behavior. And what happened was Barnett's a screenwriter who works from home, and Sandy's a big business executive who has to do a long commute every day. And she'd get home 7:30 at night after her 1-hour commute, and she'd be all flustered and complaining, and Barnett would say to her, but Sandy, did you meditate today? Which would totally piss her off, because she'd say, I was driving, I was working, you work from home, I didn't have time to meditate. And they'd be off and running in the same argument almost every night. And finally one day, Sandy noticed that whenever Barnett was saying, but Sandy, did you meditate? He was standing with his right hand on his right hip and his left foot forward, and in a very particular, powerful stance. And rather than argue with him on this one night, she mimicked his physical behavior. And as soon as he figured out what she was doing, he started to laugh, and then she started to laugh, and they never had the argument again, because as soon as he would ask her that, she would just go into the stance and they'd crack up.
That's so funny, so it just really goes to show that when you allow yourself to kind of be playful in your relationship instead of being so serious, you could actually transform the relationship and the conversation that you're having with your spouse, with your partner. And so, Arielle, if people want to get the book, they could go to thewabisabibook.com, right?
Both ways. If you go to thewabisabibook.com and buy the book there's 5 hours worth of free bonuses, interviews with John Gray and Harville Hendricks and Allison Armstrong, really, really great bonuses. Or if you just want to check out the first chapter for free, go to wabi-sabi-love.com, and you can download the first chapter for free right there.
Okay, thank you so much, Arielle. Guys, we're going to go to a break. You're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO, Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. Don't go anywhere.
Get out of the routine and start your day with the KCMO Morning Show.
She said, I'm having contractions. I said, all right, let's get in the car. They got in the car, loaded everything up. Wait, she gets out of the car. They had the neighbors help, and they delivered a healthy baby boy in the driveway. I know my wife listens. She's like, man, if I could have a baby in the driveway, 30-minute delivery.
Fox News Radio, I'm Paul Stevens. President Obama's re-election campaign chiding Republicans in Congress on the economy and job creation.
These are the architects of obstruction, and now they're complaining about the pace of the recovery.
Obama campaign advisor David Axelrod. Mitt Romney's campaign saying he has a clear economic plan on his website.
I think you would be stunned if you go to the issues page there and look at the detail in the plan that Mitt Romney has out there.
Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus and Axelrod both appearing on CBS's Face the Nation. The celebration continuing in London for the Golden Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth.
Anybody who was born after 1952 has had one monarch their entire lifetime. And that means that for them, Elizabeth is the monarchy.
Fox Radio's Phil Ittner in London. The Queen today reviewing thousands of ships parading on the River Thames. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Your KCMO forecast from KCTV5.
You'll notice increasing cloud cover throughout the day today. It's possible that overnight storms from central Kansas will begin pushing into our area late this morning. We'll catch a break from any rain during the early afternoon, though, but there is a threat for storm redevelopment later in the day. Some of the late afternoon and evening storms could be on the strong side, with hail and gusty winds being the main threats. Today's high temperature climbs into the low to mid-80s. I'm KCTV5 meteorologist Iris Hermosillo.
Who are you? What makes you tick? What makes your heart race? I want to know. You see, my purpose is to support you on your journey. My name is Vasavi Kumar, and I specialize in transformational coaching and speaking. Let's set up your 60-minute coaching session today. Call me at 913-951-1764. That's 913-951-1764.
There he is. Come on up here and sit down on the porch with me.
I love staying here. How long have you lived here?
A long time. You know, your mother grew up here.
I'm gonna have a house like this when I grow up.
I hope so, buddy. I hope so.
For the first time in generations, the dream of home ownership is being threatened. Realtors, members of the National Association of Realtors, are here to represent you and protect home ownership. Visit houselogic.com/homeownership to learn more.
This is Sally Field for Save the Children. We've all seen the devastation the hurricanes have wrought. Now imagine how we can make it better. Imagine all the children from the hurricanes feeling safe again.
Imagine all the children back with their families again. Imagine all the children going to school again.
Please help us create lasting change for children here at home and around the world. Call 1-800-SAVE-THE-CHILDREN or visit SaveTheChildren.org.
Imagine we can save the children.
Imagine.
Hi, I'm a home. The one with a roof, walls, and all the things that make me yours. Things like your comfy couch, entertainment center, and that lamp you just couldn't live without. These are the things that you could lose in a flood. And homeowners insurance doesn't cover floods. Even just a few inches of water in your home can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. But in moderate to low-risk areas, flood insurance starts as low as $129 a year. Visit floodsmart.gov to learn what a flood could cost you.
Finally, an all-natural male enhancement product that really works and works fast. Now, when the moment is right, you'll be ready. Hero Tabs is a scientifically developed, doctor-recommended natural formula that's safe and effective. With Hero Tabs, you'll experience explosive, fast-acting results on demand. Hero Tabs works the first time, every time, and it's guaranteed to give you the performance edge in the bedroom. This is the product the drug companies don't want you to know about. But we do. That's why we're making this special radio offer. Be one of the first 100 callers and we'll give you a free supply of doctor-recommended Hero Tabs to put to the test. With 3 million doses sold, we know you're just a phone call away from the best sex of your life. This is a limited time offer and supplies are limited, so call 800-861-8065. That's 800-861-8065. Guys, when she's ready, be ready with Hero Tabs. Call 800-861-8065. That's 800-861-8065.
This is KCMO Talk Radio 710, now on FM at 103.7. Cutting through liberal bias with a Fox News laser. KCMO.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you.
Welcome back, guys. You are listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. And I have just been talking to the amazing Arielle Ford, author of Wabi-Sabi Love, The Ancient Art of Finding Perfect Love in Imperfect Relationships. Can't we all relate to that? And we just finished talking about kind of creating code words with our partner in order to have, more of a playful reminder, hey, that part of you that isn't so sexy is coming out. And Arielle, I love the example that you gave about having your husband basically say to you that Sheila was coming out, who's your mom.
Right.
So that's great. And guys, it's really that simple. If you're able to, first of all, identify that behavior and then kind of get your partner involved in really calling you out on it from a more playful stance, I think that's an awesome way to transform that conversation that you guys have with each other. So, Arielle, I know in Wabi-Sabi Love, it says that developing a generous heart is one of the core principles. Can you explain what a generous heart is?
Yeah, and that's some of what we talked about a little bit earlier, is really, looking to share your partner's passions with them, even if it's something that you don't automatically go to, like my example with the basketball. I have another story in the book about my friend Moji, who went out with this guy. She just got divorced, and she started dating this guy who was completely, bonkers for football. And she didn't know anything about it, but she seemed like every date was football related. And she's actually Iranian, so really knew nothing about football. And finally she decided to see if she could learn more about it. And what ended up happening is she became a bigger football fan than her husband. And so they now plan all their vacations around football games and playoffs, and all their anniversaries are celebrated around it. And it just turned into this really big part of their lives together. So she developed a generous heart for football. But one of the other stories that I really like that talks about that is my friends Jerry and Diane, because Diane's a woman who loves to shop. Mm-hmm. And Jerry's a man who would rather crawl naked over broken glass than go shopping. It's just it's so painful for him. And so what happened was one day Diane asked him to go because she had to pick out a dress for a formal affair. And they were sitting in the he was sitting in the dress department of the department store while she was trying things on. And it was so painful for him that he actually prayed, and he asked God to help him. And God spoke back to him and said, take this time to write Diane a love poem. So he got out a piece of paper and a pen, and he wrote her a love poem. And when she was done shopping, she came over and said, okay, I'm ready to go. And he said, oh, no, sit down for a minute. And he read her the poem, and of course she cried and he cried, and they hugged and they kissed, and they left the store together hand in hand. But that's not the end of the story. 2 weeks later, Diane was back in the exact same store with her mother shopping, and she saw this young couple in the dress department, and she instantly recognized the look on the young man's face. And she walked over to him and she said, horrible, isn't it? And he said, you have no idea. And she said, well, actually I do. And she told him the story. And as she walked away, she heard the young man say to his wife, honey, you got a pen?
Aww. So she really just paid it forward.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And so developing a generous heart. So I actually had a friend who read Wabi-Sabi Love, and she wanted me to ask you this. How is it possible to be generous with your partner if you don't feel like they're being generous back?
Well, this is a core relationship thing where some people have this idea that everything has to be 50-50. And I don't believe that at all. I think if you're going to be in a relationship, you should be giving 110% all the time and not looking for reciprocity. And if you're there measuring stuff, then, maybe you're there for the wrong reasons. So, people give in different ways. So the way you give and nurture is going to be different from the way your spouse gives and nurtures. And you have to, sort of understand the gifts that each of you bring. And really the selection process of choosing a mate is the most important part of it, because if you have a certain picture of what great relationship's going to look like for you, then you need to choose somebody who's going to fit that rather than beat them up later because they're not doing it your way.
I think if you're trying to apply generous heart in your relationship, but you're still kind of keeping score, it's not going to work.
Right.
Because what I hear you saying, that generous heart is about kind of limitless abundance and just limitless, just giving of yourself and just complete surrendering of yourself, regardless of what you're going to get back. I mean, obviously, this is in the situation that your spouse is a loving, kind human being that, absolutely adores you and respects you, but it sounds like your generous heart is just about giving of yourself and not holding back.
Right. And then also giving appreciation for the gifts that they do give and the way that they give it. The biggest kept secret about men is if you want them to do what you want them to do, start acknowledging and appreciating every little thing that they do, because if it works once, they'll do it over and over again. But you have to heap praise on them so they know. It's like 3 weeks ago, Brian spontaneously came home with this big bunch of lilies and sunflowers. And I just went completely crazy. Now, once a week, I get lilies and sunflowers.
Okay, I'm sitting here laughing, and my producer is sitting here like, oh my God, we have totally heard the gospel here. Like, it's just so funny, because when my husband and I were actually in marriage therapy, the first year of marriage, because we've only been married a year and a half, and the marriage therapist asked my husband, what do you need from your wife? And he said, I just want to be told how great I am.
Every day.
But Ariel, I come home and he vacuums like straight little lines, and I'm like, babe, I love the straight lines in the carpet. And he vacuums every other day, and we have a golden retriever, so we need to be but it's like the littlest things that maybe we don't think we need. Our spouse actually needs that,
Exactly. And they need to know that they're appreciated and needed.
Well, the secret is certainly out of the bag. So thanks. I'm sure all the women are thanking you right now. But so do you think the wabi-sabi love approach could work even when your relationship is badly damaged or you're on the verge of divorce?
Yes, I've actually seen it work there. So if you're on the verge of divorce because there's betrayal involved, then definitely you want professional counseling to help you rebuild trust. But absolutely, the wabi-sabi approach is looking for what's right, not for what's wrong. Trying to put on those rose-colored glasses and finding some humor and lightheartedness in things, even when they're serious. You can diffuse a lot of seriousness really easy just by adding a little humor in there, not taking yourself so seriously.
So I know that you believe that we must learn to be personally responsible, and Deep Talk, which you're listening to on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. Deep Talk is all about being personally responsible in your life and just you being the creator of your life and your universe. I know, Ariel, that, we must learn to be personally responsible, right, for our own happiness in life and especially in relationship, but it seems a bit counterintuitive.
Well, let me tell you a quick story about Barack and Michelle Obama.
Yes, love
book.
them.
Yeah, so early in their marriage, they came very close to getting divorced. In fact, Barack had told his grandmother that Michelle just nagged him and ragged on him so much he didn't know if it was going to work out. And they were both pretty unhappy. He was, a young legislator. He was traveling a lot for work. She had a very big, important corporate job and 2 young girls at home. And she felt, overwhelmed, stressed out. She'd gained weight, didn't have time to work out, and was really unhappy. And one morning she woke up at 5 in the morning and she really wanted to go to the gym, but then she was feeling guilty and thinking, oh, yeah, but the girls are going to get up and they're going to need breakfast and Barack doesn't know what to do. And then she thought, you know what, I'm just going to get out of bed and go to the gym, and he's a big boy. He'll figure out how to give them breakfast. And while she was working out at the gym, she had this epiphany, and she realized that she had been waiting for Barack to make her happy. And she decided that she was going to make herself happy. So when she got home, sure enough, the girls were at the kitchen table eating breakfast. He'd figured out where the cereal was. And she said to him, you know what, things are going to change. She said, I'm going to take my mother up on her offer to let her help me with the kids. We're going to have some new rules, like every night that you're in town is family dinner night, and every Sunday is family day. And she took control of her life and her own happiness, and now they have a great marriage.
So I think that is key, because I think in relationships we get people get into relationships because they're thinking the other person is going to fulfill their void.
Right.
And it's like, no, at the end of the day, if you were miserable before you got married, you're going to be even more miserable when you get married if you're not going to take control of your own happiness.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that story, by the way. So what's the one thing we can do today if we are really annoyed with our partner and we need a wabi-sabi solution?
I would say just find a way to take a few deep breaths or take a bubble bath or go for a walk and realize they're not consciously choosing to make you crazy. That's not what they're up to. That whatever it is they're doing, it's your issue. You're the one who has it that they're bad and wrong. And what new story could you make up about it? That could have you let it go a little bit. And I would say reading the stories in Wabi-Sabi Love will really help as well, because it's the fastest way to learn is to read other people's stories.
Well, that's what I loved about the book, because so many of the stories that you showcased were so applicable, and they weren't like major, details. It was like the simplest thing from the toothpaste, not squeezing the toothpaste from the bottom, but squeezing it from the middle. Like it was like the simplest but the juiciest examples that actually affect people on a day-to-day basis. People get affected by the littlest things, and they actually let that offset their entire day in a very negative way. So I want to thank you so much, Arielle. And guys, if you want to just get the first chapter of her book, you could go to the wabi-sabi-book.com. I would just recommend getting the whole book because it is awesome. It is filled with real-life examples. You are not alone, and there is a solution to all the annoying behaviors and you getting triggered and frustrated and not having the relationship that you deserve in your life. So, Ariel, is there anything else you want to say to our listeners today?
Nope. It's been fun talking to you. I just know that wabi-sabi works. It'll work for you. It'll work for your relationship. It's lots and lots of fun to do. Just check it out at wabi-sabilove.com.
Thank you so much, Ariel, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Guys, you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO, Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, I'm going to be talking to you about 3 magic little words that you need to know today.
KCMO Talk Radio 710 and at 103.7 FM, the new home of the Mike Huckabee Show.
By the way, I got to tell you a little Kansas City connection. My son-in-law is from Kansas City, and he and my daughter are any day going to present me with my second grandchild and my first granddaughter. So I got a very special interest in Kansas City as a result of that. And the Kansas side of it, by the way.
Mike Huckabee, weekdays 11 till 2 on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and now 103.7 FM.
Vasavi Kumar knows one thing for sure. She is no expert. Instead, she embodies and radiates acceptance, vulnerability, hope, and love, drawing from a lifetime of awareness and the primal understanding that at our very core, we crave connection and truth. Vasavi knows that by sharing her authentic self, she creates a safe place for others to not only discover, but speak their own truth. Knowing that the relationships we seek begin first within, Vasavi delivers presentations that not only uplift and inspire, but encourage each attendee to dig deep, cast away doubt, and claim the truly radiant self they've too often buried under layers of expectations, disappointments, and self-criticism. To learn more about how Vasavi can support you in getting you out of your own way, visit her at vasavikumar.com or give her a call at 913-951-1764 today. vasavikumar.com, 913-951-1764.
Did you know you could earn a transfer discount just by switching your motorcycle policy over to Geico? And if you already insure your car with Geico, you could even get a multi-policy discount. I've always wondered what it's like to ride a motorcycle. To ride my steel horse across the land, fighting crime alongside a tall brunette, Francesca. Sorry, my mind went to a strange place there. Where was I? All the Geico motorcycle discounts. Right.
Call Geico or visit geico.com today to see how much our discounts could save you.
The Home Depot is making it easier to bring home a brand new brand name appliance with instant savings of up to $750 on purchases of $497 or more. So you can afford an upgrade, like that stainless steel Maytag fridge you thought was out of reach, or that front-loading GE washer you've wanted for years. All thanks to savings of up to $750. More saving, more doing, That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through June 20th, U.S. only. See store for details.
Homeowners, did you know a burglar could break into your home and get away in just 5 minutes? A locked door may not be enough to keep a thief out of your home. Think about what you can lose. Then think about this. Now, you can get a free security system monitored by ADT, the leader in home security. Call now and get free hardware, free medical and fire alert, and free activation. That's an $850 value. Call right now and you'll also get 15 free sensors. That's 15 points of protection for free. Call Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer at 1-888-987-3232. You'll get 24-hour protection, and there's no cost for parts or activation. Call now about a free security system monitored by ADT. Call 1-888-987-3232. $99 installation charge. 36-month monitoring agreement at $35.99 per month. Offer valid for 15 hardwired sensors or 7 wireless sensors. Labor charges may apply. Call for terms and conditions to this offer and protect your home license numbers. Call now. 1-888-987-3232.
Today's deal, Salute Wine Festival, 51% off. Go to sweetjack.com to sample over 250 wines at the Salute Wine Festival.
Sweet Jack, now that's a real sweet deal.
Sweetjack.com.
Kansas City's talk station, Talk Radio 710, and now at 103.7 FM. The biggest names in talk radio, even easier to listen to. AM, FM, and online at KCMOTalkRadio.com.
By August of next year, your medical billing and coding methods become critical to the financial success of your practice. That's when America converts to ICD-10, and your coders must be certified in over 140,000 new codes. Certification is time-consuming and costly, and you risk an increase in claim denials. Purpose Billing Services is your billing and coding solution. Their staff is certified and experienced. Contact them for a free quote today, 913-707-8710, or visit them on the web at purposebilling.com. You fix your patients' aches and pains, and they fix yours.
Greg Knapp.
Take the poll right now, KCMOTalkRadio.com. Do you think the local teen who killed a woman while texting while driving got the appropriate punishment? KCMOTalkRadio.com.
We are back, and you're listening to Deep Talk on KCMO Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM, and I'm Vasavi. And we just finished talking to Arielle Ford. She's absolutely amazing. She was a great guest, and her book is absolutely phenomenal, Wabi-Sabi Love, and you could go to wabi-sabi-love.com to get the first chapter, or just get the book on Amazon, or you can also get it at her website, and it just teaches you how to get past all the stuff that you've been holding on to with your partner. And yes, relationships are going to have its ups and downs. Trust me, I can speak from personal experience. But if you apply Wabi-Sabi Love principles to your life, I guarantee it'll transform that conversation that you're having with yourself and your partner. The 3 things that really stood out for me was, number 1, to have some playfulness in your relationship, right? Like, instead of taking whatever your partner is doing so seriously, just learn to have fun with it. So Arielle mentioned that sometimes she can act like her mother, and so she's asked her husband Brian to say to her, "Is Sheila coming out?" That was her mother's name, and I love that because he's getting the point across, but he's also being playful about it, and I love that. And she came up with it, which then she's giving him the permission to call her out when she's acting like her mom. Number 2, which I loved, was having a generous heart. Just give 110%. And I think we suffer as a society because we're so attached to the outcome. But when you're in a relationship, when you're married to someone, you didn't marry them to see what you could get back from them, right? You married because they provided something emotionally for you that filled you up. I mean, you guys just got your needs met from each other. But that actually leads me to the 3rd most important thing that she talked about, was being personally responsible. And the greatest example of that was Barack and Michelle, how Michelle Obama was waiting for for her husband Barack to make her happy. And instead she realized that she had to get up and do what she had to do to make herself happy. And I love this. Ariel and I were just talking about it, that oftentimes we get married because we think the other person is going to fix our sadness. The other person is going to fix our insecurity or make us feel confident. That's not possible, because you are the ones that are in control of how you feel each and every day. So learning to have playtime, having a generous heart, giving 110% of yourself. And she also gave that little bonus secret to all of us women out there, that if you want to get your man to do something, just acknowledge him. Men just love acknowledgement. They want to feel good. They want to know that you're proud of them. Just get really excited whenever they do anything and do it all the time, and they'll do anything for you. So yeah, that's a little secret that she gave away. And also being responsible for your happiness as opposed to putting that burden on your spouse. So before we wrap up our show, I have to ask you guys a question. Have you ever wondered what really successful people do to live admirable, epic lives? I did. I thought about it all the time, and part of that is why I started Deep Talk here on KCMO Talk Radio 710, where I interview thought leaders in the world of business, transformation, and personal development. And, people think that starting Deep Talk was easy and that talking to my guests is natural for me. And people wonder how I get people like Ariel Ford or, upcoming guest Neil Donald Walsh or past guest John Gray and Don Miguel Ruiz. People just think it's easy. But the truth is, it was really scary reaching out to them and asking them, hey, do you mind sparing 30, 40 minutes to be on my show? In fact, I have to admit, I still get nervous right before I interview my guests. I still get really scared, and so not to the point of being paralyzed, but I'm still very aware of how nervous I get because I'm going to talk to someone that's so established in this field of transformation and personal growth. So I want to teach you guys why I did what I did, why I do what I do, and how I find the courage to start something like this, start something like a radio show, start, just making a list of all the awesome people that I want to have on my show and actually reaching out to them in spite of my fear. And I want to reveal all of this to you on a complimentary one-time only teleclass. Join me on Wednesday, June 6th at 1 p.m. Central Time. Okay, so mark your calendars. It's going to be 1 p.m. Central, Wednesday, June 6th. And it's really easy to sign up. You go to www.sourceofyoursuccess.com. And I'm going to give it away. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to be telling yourself, the 3 little words that you need to be repeating every single day whenever you're overcome with fear, how to live an epic, breathtaking life, and the 3 magic little words that you need to know that is, I swear to God, it is the absolute true secret. It is a proven model. It has helped me every single time in every little thing that I do. And you know why I want to share it with you? Because I want you to be happy. I want people to have the life that they want. I don't want people to be victimized by their past and their circumstances. I want you to be fulfilled and joyful and peaceful and be successful. So go to www.sourceofyoursuccess.com. Until next time, you are listening to Deep Talk on KCMO, Talk Radio 710 and 103.7 FM. And remember, be kind to yourself.